Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Before this video starts, I'd like to thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit 1,700 subscribers. It's really a pleasure to bring you these videos, especially when most of the time I get positive feedback. So I just really want to keep you guys informed, and while we're at this, might as well just hit that subscribe button. It's a red button that looks something like this, and you click on it, you're subscribed, and you might want to hit that bell icon because that gives you notification every time a video is posted. That's really up to you. It's really up to you, but I just want to encourage it. But today's video is going to be about the threat for another tropical system, hurricane, tropical depression, tropical storm. It could be either of those at this point. Most likely a tropical system, tropical depression or tropical storm. It might even be subtropical, but we are having a lot of disagreement, but at the same time some agreement. So this is still, it's getting closer. If we go using the GFS, the latest round, you can see there's a lot of precipitation across the US, especially the southeast. So that just also leads to concern, because even if this is just going, even if this storm is going to be subtropical and leaves only around 10 inches of rain, which isn't huge, but it's a fairly large amount, 10 inches of rain can really lead to flooding, especially if the ground is already saturated. And it looks like as if it will be more saturated throughout the coming days. And you can see that this this tropical system just starts developing in the Gulf, the warm waters above average for this time of the year, and 994, 992, and it makes landfall in the panhandle of Florida, according to this model of the GFS, and then it does a swivel and out into the ocean. However, this may not be the case. This probably won't be the case exactly, because you can see that the CMC has it further west. And let's track it back. Hour 24. I'm sorry, this is the hours, because yesterday I got a comment saying should put the time. I don't really want to put the time dates in the title, but here are the dates of where this map is occurring. So this is 6 o'clock Saturday, June 9th, 2018, and this is the forecast hour, how many hours from this point on, which is 2:35 p.m. Thursday, June 7th, and this is 42 hours out from now. So you can see quite a bit of rain across the states, but relatively calm, just, you know, showery weather, thunderstorm weather, typical for June. But then the CMC has this little system coming out here, and you can see that it's not nearly as strong as GFS, but it has dropping it to 996, and that's as far as it goes. It also has it coming a little bit later than the GFS. You can see that the CMC actually has it coming Sunday, June 17th, 2018, right here. But the GFS has this system coming in around Thursday, and I don't know what day that is, a couple days back. So Thursday, the same week. So that is, again, that is something that is also disagreement against the models, when it will happen, if it will happen. And at this point, I think there's another model I would like to show you. It's called WW3. It's also agreeing with these models, and let's track this back. You can see this one has it hitting a little bit earlier, and this isn't wind speed or rain amount. This is actually wind waves, combined wind waves and swell. So it's basically the height of the waves, and obviously the higher the waves are, the more windy conditions there is. It's a direct relationship, and with that you could assume that there is some sort of system above it contributing to those waves. And you can see right in there, right in the Gulf, let me zoom in on this quickly for you guys, because I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Right there you can see there's some red colors, so that indicates of some higher waves, some stronger winds, and that is very similar to the GFS. So these models are also agreeing with the GFS. However, I do want to show you one model that isn't agreeing with the GFS, and that's the European model. If we go to, this basically shows you the vorticity, cyclonic vorticity, the wind knots. So the stronger the spin, the stronger the storm is. And if we go out couple, 100 hours, it doesn't really have the system at all, like nothing, not even slightest hint of a system. So there is from absolutely nothing, according to the European model, to a pretty strong storm according to the GFS. And I showed you the GFS, its weakest actually phase of the storm, because couple model runs earlier in the evening yesterday, it showed one heck of a storm, and it was getting a little bit, I think, a little bit too loopy with this, because I don't think it's going to be that as strong as it was showing. But let's go back to regions and zoom in onto the southeast. And let's say even the one today at night. I think this one had a stronger storm than we have right now. Might not. Yeah, it does. Look. So, sorry. This is the problem with the GFS. It does tend to loop around a little bit and jump around with these storms. But, you know, consistency is very rare for GFS. And when it's consistent with something, it just kind of shows you something that, you know, might be getting at something. And 967, that'll be a category 2 or 3 hurricane, which I don't think will happen. I don't think we will even reach a hurricane status, but we might. Huge question mark at this point. And I think at this point we just need to watch if anything develops in the first place, because that's the main question. You can see that just moves up, takes quite a big leap into the inland areas and leaves out, and that is it for now. But as you could see, that they have weakened ever since. Today's run has it much weaker, has it at 994, 992 at its lowest millibar pressure. So that's definitely still a sizable storm. But I also want to say something, that even if not, whether or not this is a hurricane or tropical storm, it doesn't really matter, because the difference between those two isn't enough to make you guys think that it's okay and it's safe to not prepare. I think it's still time to prepare, especially live along the coast, and even inland areas. You could also experience some flooding, so it's just never too late to have a plan. So that's what I would highly advise. And if you're wondering how much total accumulated precip, this storm, like I said, wouldn't leave insane amounts of precip, but again, there would be quite a bit of precip before the storm, which already has the ground saturated, and when ground is saturated, the water just runs off and causes flash flooding. So you can see in some of these areas, that's 4, 5, 3 to 6 inches of rain mainly, but that is definitely still bound to change. So I would also like to go to Ventusky and give you a better look of how the wind speeds may look with this storm. So this is GFS. Here is the date. This is Thursday the 14th of June. That's next week, and you can see there's a system developing right here. And the winds, according to this, at the strongest will be around 65, 66 maybe. And these winds even reaching towards 70 right there. But I think it'll be in the 60s. But that's going to be mostly the strongest at its form, because then it encounters some cooler water. And right around landfall, the winds are only at 50 miles per hour. So even if the GFS was right, I don't think we're going to have a hurricane criteria. But it's definitely possible that it could happen. But, you know, again, it's just probably not going to occur. There's just so many odds against it. Another cool little thing that I would like to share is that the GFS, let's open up this little drawing utensil here. So the GFS, so there's this, right now currently there's this trough that goes right along here and up into the east, and associated with these lows, there's with these troughs in the jet stream, there's always these lows that come across, and they're usually related with these storms. And the GFS has this storm right here. So again, both of the models are showing this dip in a jet stream, and usually with these dips in a jet stream, there's these storms that are either on each flank of these storms. Could be on the western, on the eastern, could be right here, but this time around it won't be right here. It'll be more on this side, on the sorry, on the eastern flank of this jet stream dip. And this, both models are indicating that, and whether the GFS is actually handling this better, or is it just a glitch in the model that it's basically trained to do this every time there's a dip in a jet stream, we don't know, because that is a little bit too far into my reach of experience in meteorology, and I wouldn't be able to answer that question. However, that is a little cool thing that is a possibility with the GFS, because all models, I mean, usually with the dip in a jet stream, there is a low that centers itself somewhere along it and rides with it. And that's what we've seen in March happen. There was like this dip in a jet stream up the east coast, and there was just nor'easters riding one after another up this coast. So this is really fascinating setup right now, and we just need to wait and see what the models spit out and what they have to say. If you want to see what the CMC has to say about rainfall amounts, this one actually doesn't have that much at all, barely 2 inches of rain. So, but again, it doesn't have the hurricane making quite landfall. It's somewhere right there. So that red, it does indicate some heavier rain. You can see that's a scale, anywhere from light green to purple or pink even. But at this point, don't panic. And if you are a really fearful person, then it's time to. And I think everybody should just prepare for this, if it even were to happen, because we'll have plenty more systems like this throughout the year, and we'll have plenty more times where there will be big question marks, and some of those could go the wrong way, meaning that from a storm that we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know if it's going to be nothing or a hurricane. It might go the other way towards a hurricane category 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5, and you know, it could be coming out of nowhere. And I remember that last year, Hurricane Irma, we had a lot of time to prepare. I mean, it was way out in the ocean, close to the coast of Africa. It took it like a week before it made here. So we had a lot of time, and we just had a lot of time for preparation. But Hurricane Harvey was a different story. That's why Houston got slammed a little bit harder than parts of Florida, even though it was a weaker hurricane, because it just popped out of the Gulf of Mexico, spun around, jumped to Category 4 within a couple of days, and did this little loop around the Houston metropolitan area and went up, which caused, obviously, unprecedented amounts of heavy rain. But at this point, it doesn't seem likely with this hurricane. I'm just saying that it's time to prepare, and hopefully you learn something new. Hopefully you heed my advice. Hopefully you heed others' advice. National Hurricane Center is a great website to keep your track on the updates on hurricanes if you don't want to watch my videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Please consider liking the video. And as always, see you guys in the next episode.